Greetings, family. You are welcome to Naname's classroom. Here, knowledge is power, so therefore we are going to acquire power. This morning, I want us to recap on yesterday's lesson before we can proceed today. So we are going to look at the prior knowledge we've already received yesterday. We got to know that English is a language. And for you to be able to speak this predominantly worldwide language well, there are these 4 skills that you need to acquire. The first one was called listening and speaking. That is the first skills to acquire as English language speaker. The second one is to be able to read and view. So we call it reading and viewing skills. The third one I made mention of was writing and present. You need to be able to write and present your whatever language that you have done. Language structure, that is how to put your tenses and everything together, and conventions. So I made that understand that listening, that was the first thing we're looking at. Listening is a skills that you and I need to be able to develop before we can become fluent in English. We found out that people listen for predominantly 2 ways, or people listen for 2 purposes. The ones who are active listeners and those who are the passive listeners. So the active one actually listen carefully to give feedback and acquire information. Then the passive one, they just listen for listening's sake. Even when you ask them to give feedback, they are unable to give you a feedback. So I went further to make you understand that to become a good listener, you need to become the active listener, which means you need to be involved whilst the speaker is speaking. One skill that you need to know is to take notes, relax. Meaning when you are taking notes, you relax, you sit down quietly, you use your iPad, you use your books, you use whatever you have. Take notes. All the words which are coming, you think is going to delay you, you put in in a short form way that you'll be able to write down every information that you need. That will make you a good listener. Because if you're able to put down some notes together, then you'll be able to ask yourself questions and give feedback. So today too, we are going to continue with the listening skills. But today we'll be focusing on how to become a critical listener. How to become a critical listener. So when I say a critical listener, what do I mean by a critical listener? Being a critical listener means you listen for more than just content. You are not only looking at the content, what is the speaker is saying, but you go further. You go beyond just content. It means being aware of how you might be manipulated. The word manipulated by the speaker's choice of words. So when the speaker is speaking, there's a words that the person is trying to send across to you. Some can be negative, some can be positive. So how the person manipulates you changes your perception and try to convince you. You have to go as far as understanding that manipulative aspect of the speaker, not just taking the content only. So being manipulated is not always bad. I want you to, because sometimes when we are mentioning manipulate, you might be thinking it's very bad. But no, there are positive manipulation and there are negative manipulation. Maybe you might be thinking that, okay, life is worthless. But while the speaker is speaking, you're able to go, no, with these words that he's saying, there's more to it than life, than to just end it all. You are not useless. So that becomes a positive manipulation. Speakers uses manipulative and persuasive techniques, and you have to know as a critical listener, the speaker will be using manipulative and persuasive. The word manipulate and persuasive, they go hand in hand, trying to change your perception towards whatever you have, or maybe the notion that you had will be changed. That makes you a critical listener, of which most people don't have that skills. So let's dive into these techniques that these speakers use so that you'll be able to become a good listener. So the first technique that they normally use under the manipulative and persuasive skills or technique that they use emotive language. It comes from the word emotion. Emotive language. Whilst the speaker is speaking, he uses emotive language. What is this emotive language I'm trying to send across to you? So they use emotional words that can be positive or negative. Emotional words, words that have emotion. It seek deep down into your soul, so it can change your perception either for positiveness or what? Negativity. The next technique that the speakers use is called what? Exaggeration. They can exaggerate a salt, which is, you can't even count the crystal. They can even tell you that there were 20 pieces of what? Crystals of what? Of salt. That becomes what? An exaggeration. So what is an exaggeration? That exaggerative what? Technique that the speakers they use. We say is what? An overstatement that says something is better or worse. So they use exaggerated words, overstatement. That is what they use. We call it what? The exaggeration what? Techniques. The next word technique that these speakers give out, so that you as a listener, you have to what? Understand and be more accurate with whatever information they are giving you. The next technique they use is powerful imagery. Imagination when going wild. They make you, they give words that will make you imagine, okay, can this really happen? So let's look at what is in powerful imagery. Comparison that have powerful effects. So you start now comparing, contrasting, and it's very powerful. That is some of the technique that these speakers they use. The next thing that they use is called repetition. They repeat words, statements, phrases, one after the other. And what is it? Repetition. Repeat phrases to remind you of their central message. So they repeat anytime a speaker is speaking. He's trying to send an information across to you to buy it. Either they want you to buy it in a positive way or a negative way. So the words that they keep stressing on, they're repeating it. The phrases, the sentences that you find out that they keep repeating is the main central theme of the speaker. So you have to be alert as a listener. That when you are listening, this is what you need to be able to grasp as fast as you can capture. The words, statement, phrases that they keep on repeating. That is what you call the repetition. And it's the central and focal point of the speaker. So develop that technique as a listener. Another technique that they use, the speaker use, and if you're a listener and you are listening, this is what you need to also put in place. We call it the rhetorical question. This rhetorical question is a question that actually they pose when they are speaking, that you cannot even give the answer to it. It can pause you, it can change your emotion, it can make you think and go much further. So what is a rhetorical question? It's a question that does not expect an answer. So they put question that does not expect any answer from you. And you'll be stuck there. You start imagining. Because you can't respond to them. You have no answer to give such. So these are the techniques. The main techniques you need to take note if you want to be a critical listener. Check the speaker and follow this pattern to be able to make you a good listener, so that in times of examination and in times of any program, you can give proper feedback. So let's look at this whole thing that we have learned, a summary of what we have learned today. Remember, you have to be a critical listener. We are developing our listening skills. So in summary, I say critical listener, listening for more information, not for content. So if you are listening for better and more information, not just for content, we say you are a critical listener. I also made you understand that every speaker uses certain techniques, and these are the techniques that they use. They use emotive language. Example, I would say rise up. That is positive, huh? The other one is to revolt. That becomes a negative. Then they uses exaggeration words or exaggerated words. Example, everyone agrees that a child must grow up with a mother or a father. Is it possible? No. It's not every child that will grow with a mother or father. Some parents die, some abandon, and so on and so forth. So it becomes an exaggeration. They use powerful imagery. I also made you understand. Example, I have a dream that one day stars will fall down to brighten lives. How impossible that stars actually come down to brighten the life of people. That is powerful imagery. So you'll be imagining. Then another one I said is repetition. They keep repeating. Example, the same thing. I have a dream that one day stars will fall down to brighten life. Meaning he's trying to send an information across to you. So he keeps what? Repeating that sentence phrase. That is what I said. Then another technique they use is what? Rhetorical question. It says, which of you will have a courage to face hardship? Look at it. It's a rhetorical question. You say stars will come down and brighten what? The lives of people. And now you are saying, which of you will have a courage to face hardship? You see, this becomes what? A rhetorical question. So these are the techniques speakers use. And as a listener, you need to focus on it so that you become a good and a critical listener. Let's look at the language corner for today. The most words that we are going to look at today is what? Manipulate. Let's say it, manipulate. When you manipulate, what do? You control or you influence. Control or influence. In other words, you say you what? You exploit. Thank you so much. We meet tomorrow again in Naname's classroom. Knowledge is power. Acquire power.